As crazy as it might sound, if you've never needed to wear a diaper before, you can actually wear an adult diaper until it weighs roughly 3 to 4 pounds.
What a load of crap.
Please keep in mind this is just fluid. Solid waste must be removed and cleaned right away.
It was horrible.
That aside, I find nearly all incontinence products absorb about 5x to 7x their own weight in fluid. Now, at this point, you might be asking yourself how it is that I arrived at this conclusion.
How did you get there?
I need to know, and I need to know now.
A diaper's weight is not something I've ever heard discussed in the diaper world as any sort of way to analyze a diaper's performance. A lot of times, a diaper's particular capacity is presented in relation to the amount of fluid ounces that it can absorb. Other times, it's presented as the number of hours a user can potentially get out of the product. Both of these approaches are ways for the user to get some idea of the diaper's potential performance and capacity. But there's a few different problems with these approaches. Just to speak on a personal level on my experience with it, for me, fluid ounces never really made that much sense, as I don't really have much of a frame of reference to determine how much fluid ounces are coming out of me at one time or during the duration of wearing a particular diaper.
I got 56 ounces of fluid in my bladder. How much?
Even when I had a cooking job where I used fluid ounces regularly, that still doesn't take into account the fact that noticing the sensation of urinating in a diaper can be a bit difficult sometimes.
Peeing. Am I peeing?
I am peeing my pants.
It's just really hard to tell sometimes when it is happening, much less how much is coming out and at what volume and velocity. Now, I will admit, back in the day, I used to think that the number of hours was the way to go, since that's what I cared about the most as a user. I remember finding out pretty quickly that the cheaper diapers that I wore, the more often I would need to change. So I would have to change every few hours. That got pretty annoying pretty fast. Besides the fact that it was rather annoying to change every couple of hours, it made it really difficult to hide.
It's obvious.
You certainly can't hide.
Not that this is something I advocate for, but if you are going to be trying to hide your issues, it's really helpful to have a product that can last a while.
It'll last longer.
You want that?
The longer the product will last for, the more likely you'll be able to make it to the point where you'll be able to break away somewhere privately for a change. Knowing the amount of time a diaper will last is useful, but I find that this number can vary pretty wildly from one diaper to the next. Everyone has different habits, lifestyles, and tastes. What we consume daily in food and drink will affect greatly how long any particular product might last for. Ultimately, over time, I have felt that this metric is not really the best way to assess a product's performance. Usually, one of the most noticeable signs you need to change will be the weight of the diaper between your legs. This is one reason I began recording the wet weights to begin with. It was only once I did that I began to notice a distinct pattern form. There was a pattern in the data.
There's a pattern emerging here.
He uncovered new data.
Speaking of data, soon I'm going to be opening up sales for the beta batch of Dynamo's diaper powder on my website, thediaperdynamo.com. I've been testing a lot of different formulas on myself for a few months now, and I think I have something that works. This first version of Dynamo's diaper powder is going to be an unscented version. As the formula currently stands, it'll be using arrowroot powder, baking soda, zinc oxide, and kaolin clay. I personally think I've seen a number of different results on my own skin using this product, and now I gotta get it out there into your hands to get it tested on different types of skin. So if you want to give Dynamo's diaper powder a try, be on the lookout for sales opening up on thediaperdynamo.com sometime this week. For the feedback form, I probably will be sending by email, or I'll at least be making it available on the website somewhere. But if you do decide to buy some of the beta batch, I will be looking to collect as much data as I can. Speaking of data, that's what I was talking about, right? Dry weights and wet weights. Collecting data, that's what we do.
Numbers don't lie. It's about numbers.
As I collected my numbers, it became obvious there seems to be a direct correlation to how much a product weighs before usage and how much it will weigh after use. I mean, and this makes sense because a diaper can only physically hold so much before it can't hold anymore. Now, super absorbent polymers are the most absorbent part of any diaper. They're said to be able to absorb about 50 times their own weight in a saline solution. There are obviously many more components to an adult diaper than its absorbent core, but it seems no matter what the diaper's design is or the incontinence product's design is, you can get in the ballpark of what it will be able to absorb with using these multiples. So while I can't say any specific diaper will last exactly 8 hours for you no matter who you are, I can say that a diaper will max out at about 5x to 7x its own weight rather reliably. Keep in mind too that this isn't a measurement that's obtained by making sure every square inch of the diaper is used. In my experience, I normally need to change well before the diaper is completely used. This is mainly due to the fact that everyone has a particular collection point where the fluid will accumulate. This is something I talked about in more depth in last week's video as a sign that you need to try booster pads. For more on that, watch this video next. Until next time, stay dry.